Hey guys, welcome to the Acrylic Asylum. I'm Mike Ferris, and in this video, we're going to do this still life vase piece here. So all the colors and tools and materials are down in the description box below, as well as the traceable image for this over on Patreon in 2 different canvas sizes. So now let's get started. So I'm starting off with an 8x10 pre-stretched canvas, and I've already got my image on there with wax transfer paper. And I did put a short video link in the description box on transferring images with wax transfer paper if you need more info on that. Okay, so starting off with my 1/4" angle brush here. I like this because of the tip on it, and that really gets into some small areas and it gives me really crisp, precise lines. So on my palette I've got some raw umber. This is burnt umber, Cad Yellow, Cad Orange, and titanium white as always. So I'm going to take some light tones down in here, and then it's going to go gradually darker up into this area. So to start off, I'm going to take my palette knife, and I'm going to take some of this burnt umber and some Cad Orange and yellow to that, and just a little bit of titanium white. I just kind of want to see when I put white into this kind of what the tone is. So something about like this. I'm going to work with this yellow and orange and change the values of this general color here, and this will be what varies the different tones and the shades. And so just going to start with this cream color, and just with the edge of this 1/4" angle brush, you can see I can get that nice precise line and really get around this vase really well, or this pitcher. So I'll just use this brush to go around this for now. So now I've got my natural bristle flat brush number 12, and those natural bristles really help to make gradients and blend colors really well together because it is going to go lighter to darker. So I'm mixing up this trio of that burnt umber, orange, yellow, and some titanium white now, and I'm just going to carry on with this general value that I started off with and basically just go around everything and blend it into what I've already done. Okay, so no cleaning, and I'm going to take some Cad Yellow now and some white. That really warms it up and makes it brighter. As you can see there, this is more of a brownish sort of peachy color. So again, down here, this is going to be our lighter area down here, and I want it heaviest at the very bottom, and as paint runs off the brush, I'll just have that dust in and take that up and blend it into that darker value up above. So same thing over here. Okay, no cleaning, and now just going into straight raw umber. This is our dark brown, and where I want it heaviest first, up in the corners like so. So I'll take this, and as paint runs off the brush, again, I'll just bring light pressure on my brush as I bring it into that lighter value, and that really just fades it in, giving it that really nice gradient. And again, these natural bristle brushes are the way to go when you want to do these nice blends and transitions. Those brushes, for me anyways, they work so well in blending everything together really nicely. Okay, so with that paint still left on the brush, I'm going to take and just tap some of it on this part here, and this just puts a little bit of texture and more interest in the background. You can totally skip this step if you want. It's really about the foreground, so however you want, it's up to you. Okay, without cleaning now, I'm just going to take some more white and a little bit of this yellow now. This is our very light cream color. And again, with that 12 natural flat bristle brush, and just going to use the bristles and tap that back over some of this. Okay, Okay, now just a teeny bit of this raw umber. That's our dark brown. And did not clean my brush again. And let's just go and enhance some of this darker area up top, and I'll just lightly bring it over this lighter stuff down below. Now I'm grabbing my 18 flat brush, and with this I can use the edge to make the table and fill this in a lot faster. So with burnt umber and raw umber mixed together, I'm going to take this value and block in our table. So now I'm just going to pick up some white into some burnt umber and make some of this table and shine on it a little bit, showing maybe some grain on it. Okay, and I went too far here, so I'm taking some water and I'm uncovering again this area that I should have left open. And that's no big deal. You can see up close the line there from my wax transfer paper of where the red tablecloth is actually going to be coming around. So I'll get that in a minute. But for now, I'm going to take just permanent black and I'm going to fill in this bottom area. Okay, so grabbing my number 10 flat brush now, and with Magenta Red, I'm going to scoop up into it some of this raw umber. And this is a very dark red. I'm going to start putting it into the shadows of the red tablecloth where it goes. So I'm going to start going right here where there's a direct shadow and get that fly out of there first. There's a lot of fruit flies here in Hawaii. I tell you, it's like they're everywhere. They don't eat much though, it's all good. So just gonna put this basically where it goes. This is just general color for now, and I'll even leave some openings. As you can see right here, this is gonna be where a protrusion of one of the folds out is gonna be hitting, so that's not gonna be in the shadow, it's gonna be red there. So just for now, I'm gonna block in just generally where these shadow colors go. So with some of that paint left on the brush, as you can see, it's fading off, but I'm still going to put that in there because some of these shadows aren't going to be so dark and obvious. They're going to be fading away, and I'm going to use some of this red to come back and settle some of that down, so that's fine. So now I'm just going to get just plain magenta now, and I did not clean my brush because, as you saw, most of that color was off my brush there. And I'm just going to fill in these other areas now. So as you start to do this with the first layer, you'll see that it's really more like a kaleidoscope than it is a red tablecloth with folds and all that. So you really just have to be patient and trust the process and know that the first layer, especially in acrylics, doesn't really look that great to begin with, and it's always rough. And so again, this is just blocking stages for this. We're just putting the general color where this goes, and we'll vary these tones and add striking highlights to the folds that are protruding out, and of course not have everything be the same, and we'll blend some stuff together as well. So now I'm going to grab my number 2 flat brush, and this helps me get into smaller areas and get more details. So that raw umber into the magenta red, and again with that shadow dark red, I'm just going to strike that into some smaller areas, and again just basically blocking in. And as I start to put more layers down, you'll see that it starts to get better and everything pretty much comes together, and that whole kaleidoscope looking image really dissolves quickly as we put more layers down. It gets more vibrant, it gets more natural looking, like it's all one piece. And see, you can tell right now, just from a little bit of shadows with this number 2 and these little smaller detailed ways, this is really starting to make this come together. So now I'm just going to pick up some magenta red now, and I'm going to go back over and put some more layers down. And I'm also going to settle down some of these dark shadowed areas, and in doing that, this is what's going to take care of that kaleidoscope image and start to really make this look like a tablecloth. Okay, so right here I'm just going to block this in with this magenta red. This is where I went too far with that table color there, but that's okay. So anything you want to do with acrylics anytime, it's all good. So you can see that tablecloth is wrapping around there. So now I'm going to take our dark shadow of raw umber and this magenta. Let's put a little bit of a fold in there as well. Okay, now more magenta red. And this is a clean brush this time. Now I'm getting Cad Yellow into that. And Cad Yellow really makes the magenta more vibrant this way. It warms it up a bit. So now it's going to be a little bit different value. And as you can see with this, I can strike some highlights. And now we're really going to start to see this become a tablecloth. All right, let's take some Cad Orange now into that magenta red with some white, and a little bit more red into that as well. So this is going to be a little bit more yellow to make it more vibrant and warm it up again. And let's go over here and let's strike some highlights with this. Okay, so now some more magenta and again more titanium white. Let's go even lighter. So just gonna build these up, and each time I do, again, it gets a little bit more vibrant, and these protruding highlights on these folds of this cloth here, they really come out, and it really contrasts really well against those dark shadows. And of course the settling down that I did before that was what blended it more together and really brought it together, so that now when I do this, it really brings it out. And that first blocking stage of the kaleidoscope look is totally gone now, and it's really starting to look like a cloth that's on the table that has all of these awesome little folds in it. Okay, no cleaning. Now I'm taking more magenta red, some of this Cad Yellow into it, and just a little bit different value just here and there. And as the motto goes, if you've watched my other videos, here and there but not everywhere, meaning it's not all just one value of red. There's going to be different shades and tones because you have reflective light, you have direct highlight, and then of course you have shadows. And even in the shadows, not all of them are going to be the same value. And some like this are going to have some of this red over it, so it's more settled down, and others are going to be more obvious and darker. So All of these things playing together like this is what's really going to give all those changes and three-dimensional look to it. So just took those three colors again, the red, the yellow, the orange, and added more white into it this time again. And let's go one more time. Let's build another layer and let's make these more vibrant. So now I'm going to get some magenta red, and to that I have some neon orange now that I put on my palette. This is optional, you don't have to use this color, but look at how much more vibrant it makes that magenta red show up now. And so I really wanted to make my highlights pop a little bit more on that cloth. So I'm going to take some titanium white, that really puts more shine and sparkle on that. And I'm just going to hit these protruding highlights now on this cloth. And like I said, you can just build up more layers or use more titanium white if you don't have neon orange. And I just thought this would be a really cool way to pop this out. Okay, so with my number 2 flat brush and with that raw umber and magenta red, which I picked more up, I didn't clean my brush, I'm just taking that dark shadow now, and I just want to go back in, and this is where I can really make these cloth folds really pop and get in there and really enhance and enforce some of these shadows. So I'm not going to put, again, everywhere, but just here and there. And like I said, leave some of the shadows faded and some of them more obvious. But when you really put a shadow next to those highlights, it really pops them out more and really does some cool stuff to it. So now I'm just going to take again that neon and now some yellow with that magenta mixed up with it. And this is a clean brush, of course. And let's go back in and check out how much more vibrant when I added that yellow. That just really made it show up a little bit more. So now I'm going to grab my 1/4" angle brush again for the picture. I'm going to fill in, and the blocking color, I'm going to take some of this burnt umber and Cad Yellow, just a touch of white, and mix it up with my palette knife. And I'll basically just block in with this. Okay, now I'm going to take some raw umber and some permanent black together. And again, with my 1/4" angle brush, I'm going to come up here. And what's really good, again, about that tip on the angle brush is that it is very precise, and I can get into some really fine areas and just fill this area. And this shows the top of the picture open with this dark color. Now I'm going to go into some permanent black. And on the right side of the vase here, this is going to be our shadow side, and I'll just fill into this and bring it over halfway. Okay, so with some titanium white now, a clean brush, I've got some Cad Yellow and burnt umber, and it's a very light cream color. And this is going to be the start of our direct highlight, and I'm just going to put just a teeny bit of paint on the brush to start with. I don't want a lot because I don't really want to cover this area up yet. I just kind of want to blend over it and glaze, and in that way you can sort of see through it still. And this is what's going to really start to build up this very bright glowing brass or whatever kind of metal this vase is made out of, and really give it that nice shine. Okay, now I'm just going to pick up some more Cad Yellow now, just a touch of burnt umber into that. And let's go a little bit more titanium white. So this is a little bit lighter. And let's go in. I want to start with the edge of my number 2 flat brush. Very light pressure. You can see it's really thin. And then as I come down and follow the shape of the vase, heavier pressure. And that just really marks where I want to start filling in this direct highlight. So now I'm just going to take a highlight and strike the inside of the arm with that light value there. Okay, and so now with a clean brush, I've got some Cad Orange and Cad Yellow and just a touch of this burnt umber to it. This is very light paint on the brush, and I just want to glaze around this light cream color that I just did and show some of that brass color, and that really helps to enhance the shine and the glow. Okay, so now I'm going to take some Cad Yellow now and titanium white. And with this very light yellow color, I want it the heaviest first, and about right here where I want it the brightest. And then it'll just fade up. And as I come outside, again, I want to use very little pressure on my brush as it comes over those darker values. Okay, with a little bit of paint left on the brush, I want to hit this striking highlight down here as well. So as you can see, as it fades up and I'm not covering up all that glow that I've already put down and letting these other values play through, it really brings out this shine and gives it that metallic look to it. Okay, so now I'm going to take some Cad Yellow into some more of that burnt umber. And let's go again, glazing just a teeny bit of paint on the brush and adding some of this glow color around that lighter stuff. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to that Cad Orange and a touch of burnt umber and titanium white. So again, around here, I want to just glaze over just very little paint on the brush and really show that glow and that metallic look. Okay, so now picking up more titanium white, and again in the middle first where I want it the brightest, and then just fading it up a little bit. And then as I come down, I want to use less pressure and just feather it out like so. And you can see I just kind of want to stir that up and just gently bring it over that other brown golden value there. You can still see that color through that white on the outsides. And that's exactly what gives it that nice shine and that metallic glow shine to it. Okay, so now I'm just going to get some Cad Yellow and a little touch of that burnt umber into it. And let's again go on the outside and enhance this glow. Alright, now I'm just picking up some titanium white, just a teeny touch of this burnt umber into it. And I want to strike again this highlight on the inside of the handle right here. And with that same highlight color, let's give the handle reflection in the shadows like this. So notice this reflective highlight is not as bright because it is in the shadow, but again, these little things really show the glow. So I've got my script liner brush that you saw there, and a little titanium white, a little Cad Yellow, a little burnt umber, and with some water and just the tip, I'm going to go and strike a highlight up top like so. And with that same value, let's strike a highlight down in this crevice right here. Okay, back to those trio of colors with the orange, yellow, and burnt umber. And with that, let's go one more time around this and enhance this glowing effect. Okay, no cleaning necessary, just going to go into raw umber and let's fill in these little gaps here. And this is a darker area down here where there's shadow since it's right next to the cloth as well as the bottom of the vase. So now I'm just going to take some permanent black, and right here immediately under this vase, this is going to be its direct shadow, so we want that darker than the rest of the colors and the rest of the table there. So that really gives it some depth and dimension. Okay, now with a clean brush, let's go back into some Magenta Red. And right here, I want to have this red cloth sort of reflecting off the table a little bit. And this is where the shine really comes to play. Let's put some of that reflection of the cloth into the vase here. And that's really going to show the shine of the metal there. So now I'm just going to take some titanium white. And of course we got to strike those protruding highlights of the folds of those cloths in there, and giving it that detail really helps to enhance that shine even more. Okay, with that same value of highlight, let's go and strike some of this as well. This just shows some of the light hitting and reflecting into the table. Now if you go a little too strong like I did right there, which is just fine, I'm going to take now just some regular magenta. And now I'm going to take just a mixture of some of this raw and burnt umber together. And look, I can just go right back over that. Just very little paint on the brush. I don't want to cover it up. I just kind of want to settle it down. So there's a difference in covering colors and then settling colors. And in this case, this is a settling method. So just a very little paint to get on the brush. And then up here with a clean brush, just going to strike with just direct white. Or I'm sorry, titanium white with a direct highlight. And this is going to be the brightest areas where direct highlights are going to be hitting. So again, right here, just pure titanium white. And again, I don't want to go all the way out and cover all that nice golden glow color, because then I'll lose that glowing effect and then the metallic shine will get lost that way. So that's why I didn't want to go titanium white all at once. You really want to build up glow and shine with colors and gradually get brighter, and that will make something shine and pop that much more. So now I'm just going to take just a mixture of the burnt and raw umber together and down this way, just going to darken that just a little bit there. Okay, now with a clean brush, more titanium white. And again, out here, just very, very little pressure. And this is just building up another shine, another layer, making it more vibrant, more saturated. And that really makes it pop a little bit more. Okay guys, so I went ahead and signed, and I want to thank you guys so much for joining and watching. If you found this lesson fun and inspirational, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss any lessons on a regular basis. And give this one a shot. This is super simple, putting the color where it goes, doing all the blending technique. This will definitely turn out even if you've never painted before. And drop your questions and comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. And until next time, happy painting everyone.